So now please join me in welcoming Kathleen Meeker, whose talk is titled Creativity as Resistance.
Thank you. Who's ever needed to find a public restroom? We all have. And most of us are familiar with the limited numbers of ways public restrooms are signaled. The gendered block figures, maybe an outline of a toilet. These are usually pretty utilitarian. We know we need restrooms in buildings. We know we need signs. But sometimes our everyday requirements can unleash creativity. Like we see in this sign at Seattle's Pike Place Market. Additional standard signs make sure everyone can find what they need when they need it, but someone took a bit of extra time to add a bit of whimsy and a bit of humor to an everyday requirement. Something about this sign spoke to me as a special educator. Like public signage, special education can start to feel governed by rules and policies and procedures. It can feel detached from the humans that it's designed to serve and uplift. And in our times, it can feel even worse. It can feel like the policies governing public education and special education are changing in ways we can't predict and we don't all agree with. Teachers and families can feel lost or constrained by the very things that are meant to ensure an outstanding education for their child. Now, more than ever, I see creativity as resistance. How do we unleash creativity from within systems that aren't working for kids? I work at a place called the Haring Center for Inclusive Education. Since 1966, we've been unleashing creativity to change the way communities think about youth with disabilities. In fact, in 1966, schools didn't serve children with disabilities. Schools could and did reject children with disabilities, and parents were pressured to send their children to state institutions, often as babies. Families right here in Washington and at the Haring Center said no. Parents started classes for their kids, and they learned to talk to state legislators. And when legislators tried to leave them out, they sat on the floor. As a result of their efforts, Washington's Education for All Act in 1971 paved the way for what is now the Federal Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, the law that guarantees all children a free, appropriate public education. Creativity meant seeing a problem, seeing a solution, and seeing it through. Nearly 30 years later, our recently retired director, Eileen Schwartz, and her colleagues at the Haring Center leveraged their creativity to change education for children with autism. At the time, in the mid-1990s, education for young children with autism was one-on-one, in homes, and very adult-directed. Dr. Schwartz's program, called Project Data, brought autism services into play-based classrooms with other young children. As the prevalence of autism skyrocketed in the early 2000s, her creativity shifted the national conversation around education for children with autism and made the UW and the Haring Center a destination for inclusive education. And now the Haring Center and our partners continue to resist through creativity. Just last quarter, I took my students, all future teachers, on a trip to the Washington Assistive Technology Assistance Program, housed just steps from the Haring Center in one of our parent organizations, the Institute for Human Development and Disability. There, I saw creative people resisting the barriers that isolate disabled children and adults. I saw a 3D printed table of elements, with each element represented by its atomic mass, so that a blind high school student could feel the concept with their hands. I saw a dog treat dispenser that was designed by a disabled veteran who needed a quick way to deliver training treats to his service dog without using his hands. I saw iPads and talking pens ready to help nonverbal preschool children use their voices through technology. At the Haring Center, we believe inclusion means everyone belongs and everyone gets what they need. We believe that diversity of thoughts, ideas, and backgrounds makes communities stronger. We believe that equity is a noble and important priority to guide decisions. And we believe that accessibility makes the world better for everyone. Seeing oppression, wrongdoing, unfairness, especially when sanctioned by power, always requires a bravery that can only be bolstered by clear, creative vision of what's right and what's possible. So our times, like many others before us, require a special kind of creativity. a creativity that chooses to resist, a creativity that chooses beauty, human connection, problem solving, and sometimes humor as the tools we'll use to resist. Thank you.